So hello, everybody. This is Mike from Dimensional Walking, and I want to talk about the post-report of UAP, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena report that came out on the 25th. I did a pre-report on the morning of the 25th, and I believe a couple hours after that, the actual report did come out. So now I want to do a post report and want to give my my listeners a discussion on my thoughts about the report itself. So let me start off by saying, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. Okay, I'm going right for it. You know, I've been doing this for about 50 years. I've been working in the paranormal venues. I've been talking to abductees and contactees around the United States and around the world, probably several thousand of those type of interviews and conversations. But I also talk to scientists. I've talked to aerospace engineers. I've talked to law enforcement people. I've talked to military. I've talked to military, both retired and active. So I've talked to a variety of different people on the subject matter of UFOs and alien beings. Okay, not everybody had the same knowledge, but they all had pieces of the puzzle. And over 50 years, I put a lot of the pieces together. And so I will tell you, I want to tell you straight out, 100% certain UFOs directed by some type of alien non-human entities are flying the craft or remotely directing them, and that alien beings, non-human alien beings exist. And basically they've been among us for probably hundreds, probably thousands of years. So I just want to say that because, you know, we're talking about right now, we didn't even go into, this report doesn't go into aliens from a standpoint, it goes into UFOs. And of course they dance around a lot about, in the report, they dance around what they are, etc. So I just want to kind of go through a little bit about this and talk a little bit more about kind of item by item. Anyway, so this was based on about 144 sightings of from various sources. Most of it came from the Navy. That was, as you probably have seen, the Tic Tac videos of the UFOs off the East Coast of the United States and various other sightings. And again, most of it came from the Navy. Even though the Air Force has been involved with this for many, many years, this for some reason came about from the Navy. So they do list a bunch of agencies that they got information from. You know, the FBI, the DIA, the NGA, the NSA, the Army, Air Force, Navy, FAA, NOAA, NGA, which I don't know who that is, and there's several other counterintelligence agencies that were involved in this. Seems to be a lot of agencies to be involved, and really the information that was given out was pretty small, if you really look at it. By the way, this will come out on the 2nd of July, and the first one came out, the pre-report came out on June 25th, just so you know. Okay. Okay, we'll kind of keep on going through the report. Now I'll kind of refer to it. This is on page 3 now I'm looking at, and so they took this data that they gathered between 2004 and 2021, and again, most of it came from the Navy. And one of the things they talk about is these flight characteristics, strange flight characteristics, high speeds, high turns, etc. And what is kind of sad about this a little bit is that they kind of imply that the data they picked up was something very recent. You know, even though I agree that a lot of the filming that the Navy planes did, that was a recent phenomenon. It happened over a period of probably 10 years, I believe. I think some of them were at the beginning of this gathering of information, and some are within the last 2 years. So anyways, but what I want to say about that is, we've been getting reports. Government have been getting reports. Civil people that are involved, groups that have been involved, have been getting reports of these amazing abilities of these UFOs flying at high speeds, making unbelievable turns, shooting straight up in the sky, blinking out. This has been going on for, at least from the 1940s and probably before that. I mean, I read stories in the 1800s about them talking about ships or something in the sky that was moving at tremendous speeds. I mean, they described it differently in those days, but obviously in those days there were no airplanes, there were nothing domestic, there was nothing Earth that could possibly even go close to those speeds. And of course, they couldn't tell what the speed was. All they know that birds couldn't go that fast. That's the only thing they knew that was in the air in the 1980s. I mean, the 1800s. I'm sorry. That was probably it. But anyways, one of the other things that they did in this report was they put it in different categories, and we'll kind of go through each category, and I'll give my opinion and what I feel about how they did this exactly. So one of the categories, of course, they talk about is that these UFOs could possibly be a national security issue, and that, well, we may not, and they're saying we will not know about this. Another foreign country could be making these craft that could fly at tremendous speeds and make these tremendous turns, etc. And I'm saying, nah, not really. You're going to know about it. At least in the last 20 years with satellites and surveillance, everybody knows what everybody's making, basically. They may not know how to duplicate it, but we know certain things would exist. If the Chinese or the Russians had something that could do that, we know they had something to do that. Now, do we know how to duplicate it again? Probably not. Okay, we don't know how to re-engineer them. And then they talk about, this whole thing seems to be, oh, wow, now we're doing this wonderful job. We're collecting this wonderful information. We got a process we're going to do. We got this, and that, and the other, really patting himself on the back, etc. But here's the truth of it. If you have studied this, and some of you I know have, if you just look back into the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and even into the 80s, there is a list of studies that the government, military, non-military, have done on UFOs. And I'm going to give you just a short list of them. There is more. I'm not including them all. And I'm not including international studies. Such countries as the UK, Spain, not Spain, I'm sorry, France, Italy, Argentina, Israel, Brazil. All those countries have done really in-depth studies about UFOs. And some of the results have come out way before we even had, even before this report has come out, okay? Saying about the same things, but we're ahead of the game to some extent. Now, let me give you the quick list, and you can look these up, and you can find out that I'm telling you the truth. These studies do exist, and they have, and they collected information, and many of the conclusions that you're hearing today on the UAP report is the same thing they got in the past. Nothing has changed much at all. So here we go. So we had the Project Saucer. These go back, I'm kind of keeping them a little bit in order. These go back into the 50s. They set off kind of in the 50s. I believe there was one of them was in the late 40s, right after Roswell. And then it moves forward. So one is called Project Saucer, then it was Project Sign, then there was a famous Blue Book, and then there was Grudge, then there's the Robinson Panel. The Robinson Panel was made up of scientists. I think I had a couple of congressmen in it. It was a variety of different folks from different walks of life that were on this panel. And it was a pretty good panel, actually. And then there was the Condon report. And of course, there was the all-famous Majestic 12, which is a controversial type subject, but this is a group primarily of military high elites, including some scientists that were part of this Majestic 12, which I do know exists. I absolutely know Majestic 12 did exist. So anyway, so we had all of these different studies and more that came up basically with some of the same conclusions. And they had many more, they talked about many more types of sightings. And a lot of it, of course, many of the sightings did come from the public, and they did investigate them though. They would go out and investigate them, and the ones that were just complete BS, they just left them aside. They didn't put the BS ones in there. They put the ones that didn't seem to be solvable, but they had some really interesting stuff to be said, okay? So any of those ones I mentioned, you can look them up. They will show that they have some great ways in which they collected data. They had a process that was pretty good. So what they're saying today is that, you know, we got this amazing process now, we can start collecting information. Well, it's been done over and over again in the past, okay? So not so much in that amazing process. Okay, so let's see. So again, this report is based on 144 reports from different sources, primarily the military, and 80 of the reports, what they call